Hello.
Welcome to the second episode of our podcast, Nothing in My Brain.
I'm Olivia.
I'm Joey. Okay, today's topic is social media. We'll be talking about our perspectives on it and the positives and negatives.
So as you know, social media is like all around us nowadays, and you see a lot of people on social media. And something that social media encourages is social comparison. So, when you're seeing all these people on social media, you have to know that they're carefully selecting everything that they post and everything that you see. So basically, because it's like curated just for you, you're having like this twisted sense of what is normal, because it's not like you don't have the full picture. And so about social comparison, social media basically increases social comparison, and we judge people based on what we see in their social media. For example, I know I have some like long distance friends, and I don't know like what's going on behind their posts, but if I see that they're like having a good time, I'm like, wow, they're doing so great, when I don't know the full story. Okay, so we should talk about why we compare first of all. Well, sometimes we compare to reassure ourselves. So when we see other people doing things, it makes us feel better about what we're doing, We kind of want to fit into the in-group, basically. And there's this theory called the social comparison theory, and it was proposed by this psychologist. And it's basically saying that we compare to figure out our self-worth. So there's upward social comparison and downward social comparison. So upward social comparison is when we compare ourselves to those we think are superior to us. For example, this is like someone who's earning more money, or maybe someone who started a business and that business is thriving. So from this, we could either have like a positive effect because we're like motivated by what they're doing and that inspires us to be better, or we could have like a more negative effect from it. We see all these people doing these great things and we feel bad about ourselves. We're jealous, we want what they have basically, and we're feeling a very low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And then there's also downward social comparison, and this is basically when we compare ourselves to people who are worse off than us. And this is to make us feel better about ourselves and our abilities, which is honestly really sad. Yeah, I think when you see like people struggling, sometimes it's relatable.
Yeah.
I think it's like relatable. And this can either make us feel happy because you're like, even though my life isn't perfect, at least it's not as bad as what they're going through, You know how like sometimes when you're doing homework late at night and you see someone else join on the document that you're working on, and you're like, wow, they're struggling just like me.
That was you one night.
Yeah, that was definitely me. And then it could also make you feel unhappy as well, because you're thinking about, oh, what if my situation worsens to like something similar to theirs, Instead of like comparing yourself to everyone, you should just like feel confident in your abilities, You shouldn't be like insecure. I think you have to know that you can feel good about what you have, and you can also appreciate what they have at the same time.
Yeah, usually like in like social media, when someone sees like a thriving person, they try to like put them down.
Yeah.
When like by leaving hate comments, like the person is probably insecure.
Exactly, you're probably insecure.
So when you see hate comments, they're just probably worse off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to be talking about like
that girl trend
and glamorization.
Yeah. Okay, you can start with that girl trend.
Okay, so basically social media nowadays, a lot of what you see is like edited, and there's like, of course there's like Photoshop, there's so many filters you can put on, and there's a lot of like editing apps where you can edit your photos basically. And this just contributes again to like this twisted view of what is normal. And this contributes to things such as like body dysmorphia and eating disorders. Like, I don't know if you've heard this quote, but it's like, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
I've heard that.
You've heard it? Yeah, so.
And also, like, apparently, like, the more you look at yourself in the mirror, the more, like dysmorphed?
Yeah, the more body dysmorphia.
That you see, like, you actually, like, see yourself, like, turning into, like, an uglier person the more you stare.
Oh, I did not know
yourself
that.
In the mirror. Apparently.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
So, basically, on social media, people have like a big obsession of like beauty and aesthetics, And so, I mean, I'm kind of guilty of that, you know? I like to search up aesthetic rooms or something like that. So, this kind of has to do with like, I'll give an example, like the that girl trend, which is basically where people try to like show off their perfect life, you know? It's like, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and then I'll like exercise and then I'll go drink some like vitamin water or something like that.
Wait, you know the trend where like the people pretend to be that girl in front of their like parents or friends? You're like,
Oh, I think I've seen that.
and the parents is like, no, you do not.
That was really funny. I love
Yeah.
watching those videos.
Yeah, okay.
Those are like actually relatable.
Yeah.
Like Trisha Paytas, her morning routine video was very relatable.
Didn't watch that. Okay, continue.
So, like about that girl trends, it's very unrealistic because obviously they're just showing like the perfect parts of their lives and they're trying to like romanticize their lives basically or glamorize their lives.
Yeah.
Because they're like covering up everything bad that's happening even though like everything bad is like an opportunity for growth and it's still important.
Yeah. Okay, so there's like a lot of glamorization happening, especially in Instagram. Because like their profiles are usually like perfectly curated, you know, like you're like, I'm on the beach, like posing
Yeah.
underneath the sun. Like they probably just like went out to take a picture and then like, they went back home. So, you know, like
Exactly.
it's like not necessarily like what really happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's that perfect, I think.
Yeah, everyone wants to appear perfect.
Yeah, everyone's human. Like I feel like some days, like even like the athletes, you know, they're like, oh wow, like they have such a strong work ethic. Like sometimes like they wake up and they don't want to go run or something, you know.
Exactly.
So it's not necessarily like what you see, but more like what happens in the entire picture.
And you like have to know, even though I know there's sometimes like there's influencers that are trying to be relatable and they like post pictures of them like just getting out of bed or something.
Yeah.
But like you have to know that those posts are still like carefully
Yeah,
selected.
like they set their camera up.
Yes.
They tuck themselves back in bed, and you're like,
exactly.
good morning.
It's like planned basically.
Yeah.
So it's not the full story.
Yeah, that's why I think like the best, like funniest like TikToks are like when like it's filmed by like a third person, like in the
Yeah.
shadows, and you see like what's actually happening.
Exactly, like
and
what's
that's
genuine.
so relatable. That's so relatable, and that's like so like yeah, it's genuine.
Exactly. I think that's what gets people's attention.
Really, 'cause
Well,
I feel like the
sometimes.
content creators have a lot of subscribers.
That's true. Okay.
So
So
like, everyone wants their life to be that glamorous too, you know. They're like, I want to romanticize my life to
yeah.
that level.
It's kind of like people want to be like everyone else on social media. So when you're seeing everyone else try to be perfect, you also want to
Yeah.
pursue that. But like you have to know that everyone's different.
Yeah, and like there's like this TikToker who like lives in like in the village or like a bed and breakfast in the middle of like nowhere. Like you want to live in a cottage somewhere.
Ooh.
Okay, this influencer actually did it.
Yeah.
And then she quit because she's like,
She quit.
I miss my family and friends, guys. Like
She was
yeah, like she has what
Okay.
everyone wants, like you know, her own like little
Yeah.
motel or like little bed and breakfast, like this like cute like cottage.
Mm-hmm.
And then she quit because she missed her friends. She missed, I don't know,
That's so relatable.
real
though.
life. Yeah.
That reminds me because like the that girl trend, you usually see people doing everything by themselves. Like you never see another person in the video.
Exactly.
It's just them. It's like independent
Yeah.
lifestyle.
yeah.
But like there's like no other people, which is like a bit
Yeah,
weird.
sad.
Yeah, like a bit sad.
so
Yeah.
your lives aren't perfect.
Yeah, their lives
so-
obviously aren't perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about like trends on social media, which are basically everywhere. So I feel like trends have to do with something called social proof, which is basically if you see someone else doing it, then you're more likely to do it as well. So, for example, and this is why it's like super good for like businesses or like companies to like market their things on social media because like once it kind of becomes a trend, then it basically blows up the market. For an example, it would be like Stanley Cups, you know, how everyone wanted to buy one.
They still do.
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah.
And like another really good business like marketer thing is Duolingo. Because I
Yeah.
feel like you see Duolingo everywhere, you know? And Duolingo, honestly, their videos are pretty funny.
Yeah, and they
so-
try to be relatable too. They're like,
Exactly.
yeah, so that's how they get you.
Exactly. That's why more people are using Duolingo. Like,
Yeah.
it used to not be that famous.
I think like a common trend is like cancel culture.
Yeah.
Like every single like month, like a new person is canceled.
That's really true.
I remember in like 2021 when like Taylor Swift's like album like All Too Well got like released, and then suddenly came out like a trend to hate like Jake Gyllenhaal.
I don't know who that is.
That's okay. People hated him anyway. So it's like a huge trend, and it was like really like plaguing the internet too. Like they like go into his profile and like leave like bad comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like this like leads to like dehumanization online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like basically they're real people, but like behind screens, like when you are online, like they don't seem as real to you as in like real life. That's why like long distance friendships or like virtual like friendships don't feel as real.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's not like face to face.
Yeah, because you don't feel like they are real, you know? Like you think that they're just like an icon on a screen or something.
Yeah, like all you see is the profile picture, so you
Yeah, so you're like,
don't really know.
It's a profile, like it's not a real
Exactly.
person, is it? But they are. So like when you cancel them, I feel like they do read the comments, they do feel the hate.
Yeah.
So let's not.
They definitely do feel the hate, you know? Like I know
Yeah.
there was like this actor, he like acted as a villain in this drama called like Queen of Tears or something.
Yeah.
He wasn't being canceled, but basically the people after watching him as the villain, they got like really mad and they were like sending him death threats.
Yeah,
as if like he
yeah.
wasn't human. But
Yeah,
like,
that's what happened with like Jake Gyllenhaal too, and also like I feel like Ellen DeGeneres, like she's like bad person, like sure, but like she did like those bad things like to like I don't know Taylor Swift, to like
yeah,
whoever. It's like years ago. Like if you wanted to cancel her, you should have canceled her when she did it. But like instead, it's like years, and it's only like one person called her out on it, and then everyone started like hating her
Dang.
too. You know, so I feel like it's a trend. Like if you wanted to do it, not for popularity, not for jumping on the bandwagon, like just like do it when you feel like it's right, not when like everyone else does it and you do it too. 'Cause
Exactly.
it's not fun for people.
And I mean, like, you wouldn't say it, like, in front of their face. Like,
Yeah.
if you were face-to-face with them, like, would you
Yeah.
say it?
Yeah.
Or would you only say it when you're hiding behind, like, a profile
Yeah,
picture?
exactly. So like when no one knows who you are, then
You feel, like, less accountable for your actions, basically.
yeah. So I think like a lack of accountability also online also leads to like a lot of hate and like a lot of like irresponsible decisions.
That's why there's, like, a lot of cyberbullying on, like, cyberbullying.
Yeah, because like you look at someone and you're like, they're a Roblox icon or they're like just like an avatar, like
Yeah.
like I don't, or they're just a bot, but they're not.
Exactly.
And so I think it's like more okay to like hate on someone online rather than like hating on someone in real life. Like you don't have the guts to like go up to someone like you're ugly.
Exactly,
And, like,
because you
leave.
know that you're, like, the one saying
Yeah, but
this,
like
you know?
even on like Instagram or something, like the most like perfect like so like content creator, their comments are still filled with like hate.
Yeah, you're gonna get hate anyways. And it's kind of like, I'm not sure if it's depersonalization or derealization, but it's like, it's not like you don't feel like you're doing it, you know? It's kind of like you just don't feel accountable for your actions because you
Yeah.
don't feel like it's coming from you. I don't exactly know how to explain it.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like
Yeah.
you become like, that's why like you know how, well, what's the book again, like the one we read about like the mask, like when you're,
Oh, Lord of the Flies?
yeah, exactly, like when you put on the mask, like okay, like your online profile or like your persona,
Yeah.
you become like this like hate like commenting
Exactly.
person, and you don't necessarily want that. Like in real life you maybe could be like this like kind person where you're really positive, but like once you put on that mask you feel like it's okay to write hate.
Yeah.
But
And
it's-
like I literally saw a little girl on social media and okay, the thing is she had like an eating disorder or something
Yeah.
like that and people were ruthless in the comments. Like
Yeah.
all her videos, they were like
and it's
people
also
hating.
like a trend to like leave comments, like if like one person wrote like a negative comment,
Yeah.
I feel like other people would feel like it's more okay to like leave negative comments too. For example, like if like a comment like section was like all positive,
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
mostly positive, it's like probably all positive, but like if one person leaves a negative comment then it'll be like really negative too.
Yeah, that's like conformity. We always want to conform to like what other people are doing.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
yeah, so hating is a trend.
So it's like a
guys.
train of hate
Yeah,
basically.
be your own person.
Exactly, be your own person. Oh, I also think like the media sometimes like desensitizes us to like certain things. You know, I feel like sometimes it feels like a little bit dystopian. You know how like in the Hunger Games, they were basically watching through a screen people.
Yeah,
doing the
exactly.
Hunger
Like the
Games?
tributes, like you see someone die and you're like,
Yeah,
I feel like gore on screens. That's why they're like, oh, don't play Call of Duty, don't play like the killing
Exactly.
because it's like you do get desensitized to like blood or like violence or gore.
I can get that it's fun, but like at
It's
the same-
fun, yeah, but like at the same time, don't take it too literally, you know.
Yeah, and
It's
like
yeah,
like especially those people in like Gaza, you know how you always see like I sometimes
Yeah.
like see videos of like people in Gaza that are like asking for
Yeah.
help and stuff.
and then you're like, that's happening, but like it is actually happening somewhere in the
exactly.
world.
it's like a bit surreal because like you're watching on the media. It feels like dystopian in a way.
Yeah, and like the Russian and Ukraine war, like
Yeah.
it's a big deal. Like people were actually dying. I think recently there's like a documentary like released like 12 days in Mariupol.
I don't know.
It's a city in Ukraine. Anyway, it was like a real. You know how we were like, if it's like staged. You know how like documentaries are usually like staged. They like film, a simulation of like what happened.
Yeah.
But in this documentary, it was like a real person, a real reporter going to the cities and filming it. And like actual like blood, violence, and gore. Let me tell you, that depressed me really quick. Like that humanized like the people like really, 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 really quick.
Exactly.
You know?
And the worst part about it is that there are like people online that'll make fun of them for it. You know, for example, like this is from a long time ago, but like the Ocean Gate thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but so many people were like joking about it.
Yeah, but like
when it
who
really
would
wasn't
pay
that funny.
$250,000 to go underwater? But they were like real people, like
Yeah,
they
they
were
were real
actual
people.
like missing people. Like even if I were like a billionaire, if like my mom went down there and never came back up, I'd be devastated.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So like there are real people with real feelings.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get how people would joke about that.
Yeah, even if they are so naive to like go down to visit the Titanic,
exactly.
like they're real people. Like
It's not so, like their deaths are not something to joke about.
yeah, deaths are never something to joke about.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay, so moving on.
Okay, so as we all know, social media is very addicting, and I mean it's made to be addicting as well.
Yeah.
Like the creators literally made it to be addicting, and they manipulated it. Well, they made it so it could like manipulate your brain in a way, or how your brain works. So basically, social networking triggers like the same part of your brain as like when you use addictive substances, apparently like drugs. So when you're like scrolling through your feed, or you're like liking, commenting, stuff like that, that's basically giving you this constant dopamine rush. And when you get like these dopamine rushes, you become more and more addicted. And that's why you have like very compulsive behaviors, such as like continuous scrolling. And these features, like the like and comments, also keep like the creators engaged as well, you know, because they're receiving like this feedback from everyone.
Yeah, and like the short like 30 seconds like clip that you see on like Instagram and TikTok, like it like capitalizes on like your lack of commitment to like media. So for example, like if you're watching like a show, like the first like 30 seconds aren't good, you like quit it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Or like a book, you know, did not finish because like
Yeah.
it was like a little too cringy or something, like you would just like put it down. But like in the old days when you had like the channels, right, you couldn't like skip, I guess. If there's nothing good, you couldn't like turn to something else.
Yeah.
So you had to like actually like sit there and like go through it. But now you can just like scroll. It's like
Exactly. That's why like our attention spans are becoming like shorter as well, because whenever you see something you don't like, you can just switch to a completely new topic.
no commitment at all. Like if you don't like it, just like throw it away.
Exactly.
Scroll past it.
And that's why like because of like all this dopamine in your brain, you're getting so addicted. When you don't have social media, sometimes it makes you feel like empty inside. You know, like, do you always feel yourself itching for your phone? Because I know I do.
Yeah, I mean when I'm bored.
Yeah, when I'm bored, like
the first thing I do is go to my phone.
Exactly.
Like not to books, not to go outside to touch grass.
Exactly.
Just like go on the phone. It's like the easier option, you know?
And I know like when I was younger, I used to like all the time, I used to carry like a book around, or I used to carry my Kindle around everywhere.
Too.
And so whenever I was bored, I would like read.
Yeah.
But now it has been replaced by my phone.
Yeah.
Which is sadly, that's not too good.
That's relatable though.
Yeah. Okay, so social media uses a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. And so like there's different reinforcement patterns. And basically this one is where there's reinforcers after an unpredictable amount of responses. So like whenever you pick up your phone, you never know like who posted or who sent you a message or like who liked your story. And because it's so unpredictable, it's very addictive and it's very easy to get hooked onto it. And gambling actually follows this same reinforcement pattern. So that's very scary because
it's not good.
You know how addictive it is.
Yeah, gambling is not good. Okay.
And also, social media has to do with like operant conditioning. I saw this article, and basically like when you post, okay, operant conditioning is basically like learning with like punishments or reinforcers. And basically when you post and you get like likes and comments, this serves as positive reinforcement because you're like more likely to post again after you get that same reward.
Yeah.
And then I know like I know some people use social media for like escapism. You know how like when you're struggling with like a lot of things and you just want to like go on social media to relax.
Yeah, it's easier to like turn
exactly.
to social media and like, just like keep scrolling.
Exactly, and it's like not doing anything about your troubles either.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of people like after they study, in order to like take a study break, they just like scroll on social media, which is probably me. That's definitely me. Which is like not healthy because like instead of like taking a walk or something, you're just like getting that constant rush of dopamine.
Yeah, and it doesn't like relax you or anything, I don't think. It just like
Exactly.
distracts you for a while.
And it can like make you more depressed as well.
Because you're like, I'm so unproductive. Let me scroll for a second, and then it just
That 1
eats, like,
second
more.
turns into 10 hours.
10 hours. Turns to 10 days.
Yeah, turns to 10 days.
Then before you know it, you're old.
Exactly.
Like, what has my life become? TikTok.
It's like really hard to turn off your phone after that. I know you're like I don't know if this is true for you, but for me, I'm like, oh, I'll just watch one more reel. But then it's never one more, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so do you find that like social media has made it harder for you to like focus on things?
On things? I mean, it makes it harder to like start things, like start my day, because like when
Yeah,
you
I
wake up, like
definitely
the
think
first
it's
thing you
harder.
turn to is like your phone to scroll on maybe TikTok.
Yeah.
And then so like you said, like 1 second turn into like 1 minute, and then turns to like an hour,
Yeah.
and then like an hour after you wake up, you're still in bed scrolling. So that's not good.
Yeah,
Like,
that's definitely not good.
yeah, it's hard because like sometimes when you procrastinate, like you don't want to start on
Yeah, I get what you mean.
work, then you just start scrolling, then you procrastinate forever.
Yeah, that's really true. And apparently a lot of social media use, which is like an hour or more, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is. It's like it shrinks the part of your brain that has to do with like concentration. And it also affects like your memory processing. Because like after I scroll, like it's mindless scrolling, you know? So I don't remember like a single one of the videos I just watched.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember a detail?
No, like when I go back to my liked videos and I'm like, haha, this is so funny. I don't remember watching this.
Yeah, I don't remember watching them either.
That's why I like him, so I don't forget about him, you know?
Exactly, and that's why it's so scary too.
Yeah.
Because like you're not processing; it's like shallow processing. You know.
Well, I don't know if my lack of memory is because of my concussion or,
Or
social media, but it's one of the two.
Yeah, but you're like processing it very shallowly, and it's not like you're not like focusing or deep processing. Which is why it's like harder for us to concentrate on actual things like studying.
It's like now when like I read books, like it's harder to like remember like what happened before like that
Yeah,
scene.
I definitely.
And then you're like,
Yeah.
who's the character again?
Exactly, because
'Cause
I'm
you
not
remember
as
it, yeah.
immersed in the
Yeah,
book.
because like in TikTok, like you don't have to remember the characters, you have to remember the plot. You just scroll because it's like a different
Exactly.
story every single scroll. So you just forget about it the second you scroll. But now when you read a book or you watch a movie, it's harder
Again.
to do it.
Yeah, again, that's like super scary because like how do I not remember like a single one of the videos? I watched probably like tens, like hundreds, I don't know. Maybe not hundreds, but like
It's a big difference.
yeah, that's a big difference, but I don't remember like a single detail of one of them.
Detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know for me sometimes like when I watch movies too now, it's like easier for me to forget the movies.
Yeah.
They don't hit as hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I guess a positive of social media would be a sense of community. Like, if in real life you don't have anyone to relate to, you can just like find a community of people who share the same beliefs, ideals, interests as you online.
Yeah. Like
know?
any examples of like platforms?
Like a fan like page, like a fan like
fan
account,
pages.
you know, of like your favorite show or your favorite movie, your favorite book, your favorite band.
Yeah. You can like
Like in
relate
real
to other
life,
fans.
do I know any Boy Genius people? No. Any Boy Genius fans? No. But on
But
TikTok,
online.
there are plenty.
Exactly. And they're like easily accessible as well.
Yeah, you can just like Google Boy Genius, and you can find a whole slew of videos.
Yeah. And like I guess another positive social media would be like you can learn from social media. I guess you can like I know some people use social media for like cooking or stuff like that. You can like learn new recipes or maybe management videos, stuff
Life
like
hacks.
that. Exactly. So again, like your algorithm or like your feed is made for you. So as long as you're like the one
Personalizing them,
personalizing these videos, then yeah.
it's for you. Okay, I think like one, it's not it's positive, but it's also like kind of negative.
Yeah.
It's like the relatable videos, I feel like a lot of people like turn to relatable content because they want
Yeah.
to feel understood, you know?
Like
'Cause, like
me.
yeah, because like in real life, like, your mom like probably doesn't share like the same personality or like same. I guess she doesn't understand the trends these days, you know?
Mhm.
She's gonna be like, Stanley Cups, what are those?
Yeah, I don't think my mom knows either.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe but the band thing too, like people who share like similar interests, I can turn to like relatable content to feel understood
Mhm.
or to feel like I'm not alone. Someone else does these things, like these like weird things too.
Yeah. Okay, so I definitely agree. Like you wanna see like other people who are like similar to you.
Yeah,
as well.
like the epic fails videos, like you're like,
Yeah.
hey, I slipped and I banged my head on the counter too once. Like
yeah, I think it could definitely give you like a good laugh
yeah.
if you're feeling a little down.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like after that, do you feel good? Like after you watch all those funny videos.
Maybe you could feel like less alone
Yeah.
if people do the same things you do. And you're like, hey, soul sister.
I feel like sometimes in the moment I'll feel like, wow, this is so funny. But then like after I'm like scrolling,
You're like, haha.
yeah, it's suddenly not really funny
Yeah,
anymore.
you're like, I'm laughing alone in my room. It's not funny.
Exactly, and then I think about like everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just me, but
Yeah, so it's like a temporary distraction,
Yeah.
but
not
not a really good one.
yeah. And also I feel like social media can inspire you if you look at it the right way. This kind of like relates back to our first topic of like social comparison. You can like see people who motivate you, and instead of like feeling inferior to them, you're like, wow, I can like never be like them or something like that. They can inspire you to have like similar achievements.
Yeah, like study talk, like the study community of TikTok.
Yeah, like study talk.
Yeah, I'm
Or,
like,
I'm not sure.
she studied for 8 hours. I can do it too.
I don't know about that.
Oh, if she studied for like 5 hours for a test, I can study for like 30 minutes to prepare for my
Yeah, exactly.
chem test or whatever.
Like I know if they can do it, then I also have
Yeah.
it in me to do it as well.
I can do a fraction of what she did, you know?
I know like there's like these videos where it's like study with me until the candle dies.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to try those, but
well,
I don't have a
no,
candle.
but like if she can study until the candle dies, I can study until my motivation dies.
yeah,
So I'm like, I can do it.
exactly.
It did motivate me though.
It did?
Study talk. I'm like, I actually studied sometimes because of
Oh.
scrolling on TikTok. I'm like, damn.
I don't
this
think
girl-
study talk has actually motivated me.
What? What
It
do you feel
doesn't-
then?
I think what motivates me to like start studying, like I have like this certain playlist that motivates me. But that's like
Oh, maybe like
different.
classically condition you whenever you listen to that music. You
yes, I was like
study.
classically conditioned because like whenever I put on that, it's like a 3-hour long study with me video.
Whoa, you studied for 3 hours?
No, I don't study for the whole
Oh,
time.
okay,
But,
cool.
like there's like breaks in between, but whenever like I put on that video, I'm like, wow, I can really get into the study mood, you know. Do you think social media is like kind of impairing your social skills in a way?
I mean, yeah, sometimes like maybe at like the lunch table and during lunch, instead of like talking to each other, we're like scrolling individually on our own phones.
Yes. I know like
So-
some people like when they like go hang out or stuff, they're like on their phones, you know. They're like not talking to each other, which is really weird.
Yeah, like you could like go out on go out at dinner, go out for dinner, and you're just like scrolling your phone.
Exactly.
And also like iPad kids, like
Oh, a lot of
Those-
little kids have devices
yeah, brain
nowadays.
rot, bro. Like
Yeah.
they have not known social interactions outside of their phones. Like that's terrible.
And the thing that's like really scary is like they're introduced to like these devices from day one, you know? Like they're so
When they're a
young.
baby, you don't even know like what their parents are like. They just like look at their phones all day.
Exactly. Like I went on vacation with like these little kids and they like played Roblox. All they wanted to do was play Roblox. We were skiing and all they wanted to do was game. Basically.
I mean, like yeah, but to be fair, like if you didn't give them devices, but like what else would they do?
No, like when we were skiing, they wanted to go home.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
not.
exactly. They did not want to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that's a wrap for our second episode.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube
And
Yeah.
if you like content like this, make sure
to
Oh.
tune into future episodes.
yes. Okay,
Oh.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.